Lunch colleagues and listeners, here we are again, and I'm pleased to say we've got a guest who I first spoke with during COVID, so I'm sure there's going to be lots of updates and changes since then, times that seem a long way away and times that many people are pleased have gone away. So the person I'm talking about is Stefan Braun, who's the MD of SmartCAE. Stefan, lovely to see you again, sir, after so many years.
Yeah, lovely. So it's really a long time. From a time where everything was online now to a time where we are so happy to meet people face to face again. That's the nice part.
We are indeed, yeah. Now, for those who don't know or don't remember that discussion, Stefan, if you can just say who you are and what you do
Yeah,
with
sure.
regards to SmartCAE, and I think you'll be pleased to appreciate, shall we say, or pleased to know that I still remember what the CAE is. Computer-aided engineering, which I'm sure you're going to throw some light on.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. No, so I'm Stefan. I'm the managing and founder of SmartCAE, and we do cold chain consulting and digital cold chain around the world. So we operate currently with customers in more than 25 countries around the world. Most of the packaging companies around work with our software technology, and a lot of pharma company are working with us to make their supply chains safer. So and we are located in Munich, and we started around exactly 11 years ago now. So and we have some history and a lot of future. That's a little bit what we are doing here.
Okay, right, great. And so now, just to jump in and kickstart. So I've maybe rightly, wrongly, I don't know, and people have all got their own ideas. But for me, it's profit, people, and planet. And the reason being is if we're not making money, we don't have the right people doing the right things, and then obviously the planet will suffer. Now, without that profit, it's very difficult to sustain the correct ways of doing things, or even to understand what could be the correct ways of doing things. So my belief is that what you're doing through digitization and also data analysis is that you're able to identify the best way to maintain that balance between cost and sustainability, and obviously in the world of pharma, putting the patient first. Would that be correct, Stefan?
Totally correct. I think this is what we see is the main magic, let's say, behind to make things transparent. Because at the end of the day, patient is always first. But the question is how much over engineering we should put in our system to make this safe. And if you have no data, we tend all to build towers on towers on towers. We take the best packaging, put it in the best supply chain, and put temperature control trucks around and everything to make it safe. Yeah. But this generates so much overengineering, what is impacting the cost side, because each extra tower costs you some money.
Yeah.
But the other side is also very bad for the planet, because you have a lot of carbon emissions you generate with all these extra kilograms air freight you ship around. So, and I think that is what I see, where the data gives you really all these insights that you can make educated decisions, and not only decisions from the gut feeling and say is A better than B. The idea is to give you really a price tag on this. At the end of the day, it's a price tag, because also carbon is a price tag at some point. Because a lot of companies have their emissions goals until 2030, 35 to be neutral. That's also a price tag in their carbon balance sheet. So, and I think if you put these things together, then you have, a very realistic metric to measure this. That's in principle.
Yeah, and don't you think now that where there was that overzealous commitment to whether it's 2030, 2035 and carbon neutral, etc., and the ways they achieve carbon neutrality, don't you think now that there should be a wider awakening as to the proper analysis and data that can help them, instead of doing this open commitment, which in all honesty I don't think lots of organizations are going to achieve?
Yeah, I think the data drives it much more. If you have this data together, then I think you can really also see which of the targets are realistic. Because not all targets are so easy to reach. When you see, oh, we use sustainable aviation fuel, that's a cool element, but that's limited.
Yeah.
So each kilogram you transport around and you don't need it consumes your highly efficient fuel,
Yeah.
where you have not a lot. So and all these bits and pieces together gives you a realistic picture. Also, what is reachable and not. And the problem is sometimes, when you have a carbon emission goal 2040, are you sure that the current leadership is still on board when you feel, oh, we don't make the targets? Sometimes you see 2050 as a target to be carbon neutral, but
Yeah.
realistically, a lot of people at the current leadership board are not very young anymore in 2050.
Yeah.
So they are not really accountable, for doing things a little too slow or not so efficient. So I think, and this data gives you a clearer path, what is reachable in which time window.
Yeah.
When you see how long does it take to qualify new packaging, it takes so much time. And if you not can shorten this time, then you will never make really changes in a good period. And you see, pharma is really growing fast with all these new drugs, with all these new biologics, and it is responsible for around 5% of the global carbon footprint is pharma. So
Yeah.
if pharma would be a country, it's the fourth largest country. You have first China, you have the US and India, and then you have pharma. And 70% of the carbon footprint is supply chain. So that's big. So it's nearly double of the carbon footprint of Germany. So that's really big.
Yeah.
And this is another academic element. When you can optimize only a few percent of this has an impact. So, and this is what I see. It gives you a realistic picture.
No, and that really puts it in perspective, huh?
Yeah. And I think this is also what drives us here as a company, because we can see we are, let's say, a small company, but with the possibility of a big impact.
Yeah.
Because when we reduce on a specific lane 30-40% of the carbon footprint, then we are talking about thousands of tons.
Yeah.
And I think this is what really is very, very important to understand, that this hidden savings can have a bigger impact on the planet as to have 2 trees more in your garden. What is nice to consume carbon, but this will not save the planet so much. So I think this hidden element can have a big impact, and it's cost neutral, and you can do it now. It's not something where you have to wait. We need new technology. We need something to get carbon out of the atmosphere. This is something we can do now. There's no reason to stop, because it's also a good business case.
Exactly. So let me put it another way now, Stefan. And like I said, I'm very aware that I'm not the brightest bulb in the chandelier. So, excuse me now if I'm asking you something stupid. But again, my understanding with the amount of investment recently and the amount of awards and certifications, etc., for what goes on in the protection of pharma and perishable, etc., my humble opinion is, again, if they measured and if they managed things more efficiently with greater understanding and
Yeah.
knowledge, and also respect for how, if you save money at the front end, it's always going to be more productive than if you try and put money in somewhere else. Why do you think now organizations enjoy talking about what's coming in the distant future, but not actually utilizing the services of organizations and businesses like yourself, which, if the data is as accurate as I'm seeing, it would make things so much easier?
Yeah, but we see really there's a big drive in this. So we see the from the last 2 years on, a lot of people go in really dramatic changes. So to give you some examples, say try to figure out, can we go from a high protective passive shipping system
Yeah.
to a blanket? Because we know our supply chain, we know our vendors, we know our logistics partners. So these things people do, but the fear is always something can go wrong for the patient. And this
Yeah.
is why we see at the moment big drive on this. But we see also the drive is going to ocean to say, okay, when we understand all these things, can we go from air to ocean? This is also something what we see is driving. But there are also certain risks. And I think the main point is we all people are like this. We have the fear of risk. But if we get a better understanding of a risk, then we can plan risk. This is what insurance companies are doing. So they
Exactly.
measure risk and give you a price tag on risk. And in principle, that is also what we do. And this is why I think our customers typically are more happy to understand their risk and make then educated decision on this. So
Yeah.
this is why I think for us it's really driving. Yeah, this is I think the biggest grow what we see as a company in a direction where normally pharma is slow,
Yeah.
and pharma is typically not a very fast moving industry, you know.
No, yeah, yeah. Pharma, I mean, they like stability and they're a little bit reluctant for the change, etc., because again of that underlying statement that you can't risk the patient, and
Exactly.
it's that sort of exaggerated or inflated fear that then makes people do things that they wouldn't do in a different sector, whereby they're able to balance the risk a little bit more.
Yeah, and I think what you see, Chris, I think the main element is also when you see our, let's say, our customer structure. We
Yep.
have customers, say, coming from consumer health, where the product is not uh, super crucial, like a
Yep.
syrup against causing. Yes, but it's not a life-saving drug.
Yep.
But you have the other side, the opposite, where you see cell and gene therapy, where you have a drug which built is for one patient. If
Yep.
this is lost, really that's bring a patient on serious risk. So,
Yep.
and I think for each player in this, the level of risk or the feeling of risk is completely different. And I think this is why the data drives this. For a consumer health, they can accept a little of risk because
Yep.
the margin are so small, they can put not towers on towers. But on the other side, when you have these cell and gene therapy on the other side, they want to have the right towers on the towers if something goes wrong.
Yep.
Because maybe you have a hurricane and you miss the flight. Then you need enough protection that something goes wrong. And
Yep.
this is also why we also connect now our technology also with real-time loggers, so that the shipment is running with the digital model. So this means you have a digital model, and the real-time logger gives you the actual data, and our model gives you a prediction when you will run in trouble.
Yep.
Why this is needed? Because the current situation is if you have a real-time device, it tells you, oh, Chris, you have a problem now in Australia.
Yep.
Product is too warm. What should you do? Nothing. Too late. And what this technology allows you to give 48 hours in advance a message,
Yeah.
oh, you will run in trouble.
Yeah.
You can do something. So, and
Yeah.
this bits and pieces make it together.
Yeah, no, no, do you know, I totally agree with that. And like, it's almost like, the operational, compliance control system or center whereby you have a set of warning systems that in advance give people the knowledge to
Yeah,
make a decision that can then save the situation. And
exactly.
now that brings me to something more, Stefan. Now,
Mhm.
with the balance between cost and process, okay, the whole industry is suffering from this now at the moment because of a sort of an exodus of experience, a lack of practical training, a lack of, shall we say, understanding and desire from people who want to come into the business, and then also the difficulties that our business just brings normally, whether it's from
Yeah.
excessive temperatures or cold or 24/7 working night shifts in a warehouse, etc. People aren't so interested in doing that job or those types of jobs anymore. Now, with that, and then on top of it, you've got LMS, you've got online training, which isn't actually practical or theoretical. It's in some cases a tick box exercise. With those challenges now, I would suggest it's even more important to have this data and this backup or safety net. because people, if they don't get that support and that understanding, and with the lack of that, what I would call natural or step-by-step logical compliance and competence, it's going to be even more of a threat moving forward.
Yeah, I think so. Because I think also what comes into place is the big picture.
Yeah,
Because what I mean is, let's say you have a supply chain 15 to 25 degrees,
yeah,
but everyone knows only his or her small piece.
yeah,
So you don't know. Oh, you go from the truck to the tarmac.
yeah,
But if you notice, then you know, oh, maybe it's not so good if I have 25 degrees and my next step is on the tarmac
yeah,
and kills me. So it's maybe better to understand the whole picture and optimize the whole system. Um, but also, I think what really we see is the change of this data. You come a little bit away from the checklist mentality. I mean, the
yes,
checklist mentality is, oh, we make a risk assessment. Oh,
yeah,
we did something. Give a check. So we can hand you over a piece of paper. Oh, we did an assessment. Oh, everything is green. And no one can make us accountable later because there was a different risk
yeah,
because this was not a. So, and I think this is what the data gives you really, because it plays with the what ifs. You understand, okay, when I change this and this, what is the impact? And you can also figure out which party, let's say, in your supply chain
yeah,
do the job good, which do the job not so good. But this also comes back, Chris, to human element, because you have to communicate also this information in a proper way, because sharing of data is always great. Everyone say, hey, sharing this data is super.
yeah, but they don't share it. They don't share it when they got the opportunity.
Exactly, they share the data only if they are good.
Yeah,
Sharing my good data, this was the same when you were in school. The good marks you can always show to your parents. We have a good, but the bad ones you feel not so comfortable about.
yeah,
You know what I mean? So I think, and this is the same here. If you are transparent, then you need to be transparent also on the dark side. That you say, oh, we have processes where we have not so on control. We know there are delays. We have uncertainties. I think this is something what really matters. That
yeah.
transparency starts in general then, but you have to accept that transparency is not good for all.
Yeah.
That's the part.
I totally agree. I totally agree. And the understanding and the analysis or the information that positive data, not just the tick box risk
Yeah,
exercise, what that can bring to you is amazing. And
yeah,
I mean now, I mean look at the way people are using artificial intelligence, and everybody thinks it's fantastic. And you just go in and you make a statement, and it tells you exactly what to do. But if you're not aware of the actual the subject matter that you're talking about, you can also be misled, or you don't do the correct,
completely wrong. Yeah,
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 or you don't do the right prompting, and it gives you a limited indication. But because it's come from AI, everybody thinks it's the best thing in the world. And people have got to learn now how to use this extra information.
yeah. But I think, Chris, to your point, because this is also why we do a lot of webinars. So,
Yeah,
so we started around 3 years ago with our webinars. So we do every 6 to 8 weeks a webinar, and in total we had more than 2,500 people in our webinars. Why? The idea is not to sell anything or to do anything on a commerce side. The idea is really to educate people
yeah,
to compare apples with apples. So I
yeah,
think this is what I feel, what we see also in our industry, that the big need to educate people that they can decide, okay, uh, not all blankets are the same, not all
yeah,
packaging are the same,
yeah,
all these things, because otherwise it's always ending with checklists. Oh, we
yeah,
did the packaging, okay, packaging done, but we have no clue of what is the difference between this type of packaging, this type of packaging.
yeah,
And I think this is what we see, this education element. When you go to the AI element, the same. If you are not educated, the AI can give you any rubbish you like. You cannot understand is it right or wrong. I think,
yeah,
and this is the same here. If you have not the base understanding or the deeper understanding, then it's always hard to figure out what effect is right and wrong, or is maybe your gut feeling only wrong or right. And I think this education element, technology is one element, but I would say technology in a not trained hand can generate also completely wrong results.
100%, 100%.
This is why people have this fear from AI. AI will not make we are jobless. If you ask the right question, it's a great tool, and we use it heavily. But if you have no clue, you have so many crazy answers where you feel, yeah, you know this.
Yeah. Yeah, oh no, 100%. Yeah, the secret now is in the quality and the depth of the prompts,
Yeah,
not just asking an open-ended question. Um,
exactly.
Stefan, it's always a pleasure. And the one thing that I love more than anything is your enthusiasm and your engagement and genuine desire to make things better and easier for people in the industry. So really, really wish you great success moving forward.
Thanks.
And
We are over. It was so fast. It's always super fun with you and to have your time running in light speed here.
yep,
Okay.
yep, no, but we will speak again because I love this subject, and especially when as you get older, and people that have had to rely on certain services and certain things have mostly go right. It's so important for
And
people.
we are all at the end of the patient. I have only one short story. I have a minute
Yeah, sure.
because I had my regular blood check, and then on this piece of paper I put it all on LinkedIn. It was fun because on the piece of paper stands, oh, we cannot check your blood sugar level because we expect the blood probe was frozen or too cold. And for me, it was really fun. I put it on LinkedIn to be in this industry, and then I hit it, but not hard hit it
Yeah,
in this thing. And my blood could not check because they stored it wrong. And if it was a serious problem, I would run maybe
oh,
the serious topic. In this case, it was only a normal regular blood check, so I can repeat it easy, no problem. But we all, at the end of the day, are patient, and that's we
yeah,
should not forget about.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And the demand for that service and support increases as we get older.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. Thanks a
Stefan,
lot,
thank
Chris.
you so, so much. Really appreciate it. And
Makes a lot of fun with you always. Okay.
no, no, likewise. And I look forward to seeing you soon, maybe at a conference. Are you in Copenhagen in October?
No, I'm not in Copenhagen. I have another conference at the same time, so it's hard to split. So my next is I go to Japan, and then I go to Basel, then I go to US. So a little bit of traveling the next
Okay.
2 months.
Well, be safe, sir, and look forward to catching up with you again very shortly.
Sure. Okay. Have a good day. Bye.
Thank you,
See you.
Stefan.
Bye bye.